Could be Alan.
Could be the NSA. We don't know.
Could be the NSA. Could always be the NSA.
Yeah.
It's a girl.
Whoever joined.
There are girls at the NSA, and we're live streaming, by the way. So this is all going on YouTube.
And the live stream is disconnected.
Yes.
No, it's still saying live stream.
Yeah.
It should say on top right live streaming.
It does, but it also gave a message disconnected. But yeah.
I know. I don't know why.
Not for me.
For me neither.
No, it still says live streaming. It's strange.
I've noticed when it says disconnected, sometimes it just goes blank, but it's still recording, and then the blank will come back.
Yeah, that's what I figured also.
Okay.
But we're decentralized, so we're just gonna start them, right?
We're just gonna start. Exactly.
We don't have a leader. We don't need a leader. We're just gonna decide by ourselves.
So I'm going to try and lead it a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
And I would start with something that I understand, which is this product budget. And such as first comment that user testing is very much related to marketing as well, who is going to check analytics, app usage patterns, and A/B testing.
Good
and yeah, that's a good point. And the answer is whoever can. It probably should be the person who's also like working on the product, but it is spread across the outreach role, across bounties, and across this product definition role, maybe even other developers.
And to me, it's even in governance, in the sense, the thing that we just discussed, Wojtek, that I think that the person who gives support can also support the testing, for example.
Okay.
But it's definitely also outreach indeed, because you need to get these testers in there first of all, and that's communication.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Okay, then I'll let you explain.
Well, I think, the role of, we need to make, well, our main goal is to make campaigns and decks successful. Mm-hmm. And to do that, we onboard them and we guide them and we teach them governance and all these things that we want to do. But we also need to see how they use the DApp and understand that. And we cannot sit, next to them. So we need to have analytics or do screen recordings like heat maps, whatever. And all that input needs to be analyzed and used to make people more successful. Right?
You can
and that's a continuous role as far as my experience with startups is like.
But is it a full-time role?
No, it's not a full-time role. So that's why I said I think it should be with marketing, but somebody should own it all the time.
Okay.
Like, you can totally sit beside them. You can literally make a video call with them, or just make a video on how to use the DApp.
Who has children with them?
Yeah, it's me. I'm moved already. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point. The moment that we start testing, we should define this. But just to give you an example how it was done with Swarm City, and I really like the way it was done, is in fact that our project manager, so the person who really is in contact with the developers all the time, notes all the feedback out of one channel and just writes them down as issues. And so I guess Wojtek is doing that right, did this in the previous round of like initial testing. So maybe this is something Wojtek can do again.
If you want to, Wojtek, if you want to.
If you want to.
Yeah, so my point is that there are 5 roles here. on this sheet, and I think we decided that only 2 are like fixed, like full time, and I think that is like 2 developers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but and I think it needs a third role that is fixed, which is like marketing / analytics, like product, something in this area of like product. Let's call it just a product manager that is, owning this thing that Chris just said.
So you're saying this should be?
Well, I think there should be 3 roles fixed. Yes, that's my opinion. But that's all. I also put it on the feedback sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I see. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And then I also put a 4th role that should be fixed. Yeah. All right.
So let's continue with that then. So Oz was also proposing to remove the architect role, which I actually already did, and I fully agree with that.
Yeah, I couldn't find it, so it's like.
Then, and this is something I would like to ask you, Satya. Is it worth? Are we big enough to have a dedicated DevOps role?
Not at the moment.
Within 6 months?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I have the very same feeling. And I've talked to RJ about it a little bit already.
Okay.
Okay. Network of many servers instead of Who wrote this?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
Yeah, because of it's quite a thing in our budget, and Amazon Web Services is not really a decentralized service, so this is a suggestion, and it's I think we will develop in that way because many people are actually interested in us having a node network for IPFS, and if we have a node network for IPFS, I would like them to be multi-purpose, and I hope we can. Or it's my suggestion to migrate to our mini servers once they are working. So.
Okay, I see your comment there. I would keep it in my mind, but I would still leave in the budget the worst case scenario, which means that we need to run it ourselves on Amazon or something similar.
Of course, keep it in the budget for now, yes.
Satya, roles need clarification to judge assigned budget. So I agree with that one.
Yeah,
how do we go about it?
I'm not talking only about these roles are kind of clear to me. I'm actually talking about the circle summary.
Okay.
The first sheet, there's like all these things on there, and I put some comments in there. And yeah, I mean, it's a bit hard. Like there's like, if you go to the circle, there's like something like the lead. What is this lead? Why do we need a lead? We're a holacracy. And this is like, we're going to spend 26,000 plus another 26,000 is $50,000 per year on a lead. That is like just a word. Then there's a project manager and there's an admin, which is another 50,000. Like, okay, what is this project manager?
No, but that's now you're looking at the budget until now. So that if you're the guy in the red. Right, Wojtek? Because you have to only look at like the until March 1st. The one that...
I'll stop it right here.
Yeah.
And I'll say we look at this after. Because Griff is now here and this will be more interactive with Griff. I want to just check if there's still something more for the product budget so that we can at least say it's...
Am I mute? Griff's there.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
Yeah. But can we get off the product budget first? Okay. Onboarding. So this we will talk about. Onboarding role needs to be fixed. That's also part of the circle mostly, or no? That's part of the product budget, right?
That's a bit unclear, but it's not.
Okay.
I think the problem with onboarding is like, okay, so I talked to this guy this morning from this bank, and let's say that I'm going to, meet some charities that, I'm going to onboard on Giveth, right? But then I start doing that, and like a week later, I decide to do something else.
Yep.
So that's not going to help make Giveth very successful. So I think the onboarding role is like, you need a dedicated person that does the whole process of getting on board, of being successfully funded, being successfully governed, if that's a word.
Okay.
So I think that should be like a fixed role.
Right.
And at the moment, it should be a fixed person.
Could it be a fixed person half time?
Yeah, I mean, it probably needs to grow with the amount of charities that we onboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if one person is not enough, then it needs to be two persons. We don't know, but yeah.
Okay.
I have some feedback about that too, but maybe I'll wait until I don't know what you want to do next, Wojtek.
So I think we can now transition slowly from there.
Okay, so talking about what you just said, Satya, I think if it can, for example, if it is indeed like this onboarding person is like a half time or something, I think all of us will do multiple things. So if you talk to someone who is interested, that is a great thing, but that doesn't mean that you immediately become the onboarding person, nor does it mean that you're not allowed to do this anymore in the future. So I think it's indeed someone will be assigned this role. And when you do this, you will report back to that person and say, hey, I talked to this, and those are the next steps. So that is you just give like responsibilities to someone, and that person takes that responsibility, that's all. So, but I think, yeah, it's definitely going to be a dedicated role for someone.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but to me, all the things that are on the circle summary, they're like budgets, and they are like all those people are not fixed. They could be like gone tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't offer just like all tasks and projects, and every week we think of something else, and then somebody picks it up, and it's all contributors, and maybe tomorrow they do something else and they're gone. So so that means that it's like projects onboarding. It's on there on the sheet. That if somebody is doing that, I mean, it needs to be like a dedicated person, like being half-time or whatever. It needs to be responsible, and Giveth needs to be committed to that person, that we guarantee that person will work for Giveth, so that we have continuity to the charities that we onboard, and that is the contact person for those charities. So that's basically my my point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I think that is perfectly possible with the people that we have. And in fact, I wanted to also give feedback now when we're talking about the different circles, that I would like to propose something here, and I told Wojtek before, is so we now have more detail about the product budget. So that one is already in a lot of detail, and that is great. What we should now have, I think, is that we have a detailed budget for the 4 circles. So what I would like to do is I would like to make a detailed budget with the help of Wojtek as well for communications, based on what's already in here, but like based on the roadmap that I would like to write. Like, this is okay, we have a product roadmap now, this is great. We don't really have a communications roadmap just yet, and that should be completely aligned with the product roadmap. And so I'm going to write this, look with other people in the communication circle if they have feedback, and then based on that, we can say, okay, there's like these fixed roles or half times or whatever we need, and we need these events, we need that documentation, we need so much swag, and go a little bit more in detail, like you guys did as developers for the product budget. And my proposal is that we do this for the 4 circles, so that someone. And so what I want to do by like this, I already announced it. What I would like to do on Friday or next Friday, if we all want to do it together, is that that I make a proposal, like, okay, I want to like propose to be the communications lead. So that would be that lead role, and saying, this is what I want to do. You guys can then vote if that makes sense to you. And then it would be cool if someone steps up to be the smart contracts lead and someone steps up to be the governance lead. And we all make a little bit of a roadmap. We already started with this in Cancun, but it changed a bit because now we have 4 circles. So if we do this, then it's going to make the budget more detailed, and then it's also, because now I cannot give feedback on communications. I need to dive in deeper and flesh this out. So that's my proposal.
Hey guys, yeah, that sounds like a great proposal, Chris. Sorry, real quick, just to go back to what Sacha was saying. Yeah, I definitely hear like the tension, kind of like in order to have like a full product team, you need a permanent person that's looking out for the analytics and who's looking out for like the outreach. Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not sure what the answer is. I know that the product owner, oftentimes it can be pretty hardcore about the analytics. Usually I think the best product owners are, but yeah, maybe they need like another marketing person. But I see what you're saying about trying to figure out like specifics for that team. I just wanted to give that feedback real quick.
Okay. So
can I comment on that too? Yeah, I think that for now the onboarding for the next, because the scope of this budget is mostly the next till March 1st, right? So the next 6 months, and so for onboarding specifically, we only, at least my intention or my thought is that we're only going to onboard My Ether Wallet, maybe another charity type project, and Giveth, and maybe a bonus one. So I don't expect onboarding to be a full-time role in the next 6 months. But after that, obviously, hopefully it is.
So here is where I disagree a little bit, right? Because onboarding should happen few months before you actually onboard that given campaign or that given thing. So for me, the biggest onboarding will happen in February, because we plan to open the platform after that time, slowly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So February, so March.
So that's 1st. One thing. And another comment is that we're trying to, right now, it looks like we just run out of budget on the March 1st, right? Mm-hmm. So we need already a budget for what's going to come after, that we can present to people that are interested in giving us money.
Yeah, that's what the next
yes,
columns are of the sheet, right?
Yes. So I wouldn't ignore it saying we only need budget for the time until the March 1st, because by the time we're, as we're going very slow about it, even now, it might just happen that at the March 1st we just close this one and say, yeah, this is how we're going to go about it. Oops, it's already March 1st.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing is that we need the marketing role, as in like the sales role, like the person who's saying, hey, we need money, that person.
Okay, so then yes, I guess we do in a way, but that's also the feedback I gave to Wojtek, and I added it in a few things. It's like getting people to onboard is for me a part of communication. So this onboarding, in a sense, falls under communication. So that would be the communication circle helping with that. When it comes to actually the practical support of people who are onboarding and saying, okay, I want to now delegate, and I don't know how to do this, and I need this, and I need to frequently ask questions and all these things, that is a support role. And what my proposal here is that we change projects/onboarding to support. And who is doing support for DACs? Right now, this is Jen. who is supporting, because we are the DAC. We have questions as a DAC. How do I get my money? How do I do this? This is what Jen is actually doing right now. My proposal, and again, it's just my proposal, and I talked to Jen about it as well, is that when we launch and when we like start onboarding other DACs, first of all, we will do communication to say like, hey, we need that many extra projects to come to us because in March we're launching and we're opening it up for everyone. So this is a communication part, so that will fall in the communication bucket. But then actually helping them, that is support, and that falls under governance. So that is that role. So I think we have the role in there, but it's just another changing the naming.
So what I'm basically hearing here, and this is something that I've done in the product budget as well, is we first need to identify the role and define what the roles will do in order to construct the budget, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So since we are almost all here, how about we give it a try and we start saying roles?
Well, okay, we can do that. My counter proposal is that we start by in the governance meeting by saying like who wants to run which circle, and that the person who runs that circle looks with their circle to define a roadmap and detail for that specific element of the budget and writes it out in collaboration with Wojtek. Because otherwise I don't think we're gonna get there entirely. I know what I can do for communications in that way.
I tend to agree with Chris that these the finer details should be run by the circle themselves and not in this meeting. But I mean, we can try. We can have a general idea. I mean, I'll say I will apply to be the lead for governance, and there is no lead for smart contracts, at least not in the current budget. I would just also, I guess, apply to be an unpaid lead for smart contracts. So technically, if that works the way that it could work, then we would have all the leads here. So we could play this, but.
Cool. Yeah, we can maybe indeed do like a rough naming of the roles that we will have by every circle.
So what I'm hearing here is something that we're trying to do again and again, and that is we have a person and we try to find a role for that person. How about we do it right and we really identify whether that is a role that we actually need? I'm not doubting this specific one, but in general, that's in my opinion, better approach, and that's what Satya was proposing on the last governance meeting, right?
Sure, and we can do that by indeed, if the different circles come together and you start from identifying what are the needs. That's the way I'm gonna do it for communication in any case. It's like, what do we need to do for the launch in March? And what needs to be done? And then when you list the needs, and then you can link it to roles. But yeah, so I can do that.
The tough part is that a lot of needs and a lot of roles are going to be coming from community-oriented people that aren't going to take a role. So some of it is easier than others, but I'm down for the exercise. I just think there's going to be a lot of contractors, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's what you do after, right? Okay. Then you assign if you need it for person or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then we all like just take our time to like define what is the goal of each circle. If you want, I can like try to make a little template or something. I don't know if you need a template, but just like I think Satya read it, and it's like, what are the needs? What do we need? What do we want to achieve with the circle? And then yeah, you drill it down.
Right. Are we all positive that we need 4 circles and that these are the 4 circles? Let's give it a vote, maybe.
Well, maybe my question is then immediately, for me, governance, product, and communications is entirely clear. My question is when it comes to smart contracts, because Griff, you say that person that doesn't have a lead. I understand that it's that we have a
paid lead.
Yeah. And so it's different in communications in the sense that we want to like spread the smart contracts, but will it live separately? And what's the goal of it, to live separately? Maybe it's good to repeat that.
Yes, because smart contracts, I don't think I actually need to pay too many people to do smart contracts. Lots of people will contribute to smart contracts just because it's the open source nature of things. Also, there's this other part of the smart contracts where
Yeah.
Oops.
Hello?
Griff is gone.
Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Everyone can hear you. It's just Griff who's gone.
Okay.
We'll just wait for a second. Ah, he's back. Griff, you were saying, because we lost you.
sorry, I cut out there for a second.
Go ahead.
Are you guys there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jordy, for instance, doesn't really want or need to get paid, and he writes our smart contracts. And it's a very unique situation. It's not something that we can just like hire someone to do. Okay.
But that's
Okay.
at the core. That's at the core of our product as well, or not? So it doesn't need to be separate.
Well, there's just a lot of things with the smart contracts. I think it needs to be a separate. Would like to reward people who do open source work on our smart contracts, and there's also a lot of audit hack group, you know, and I'm working with Maker right now to.
Yeah. It's not going to work. Well, there's still quite a big budget allocated to smart contract circle, so the argument wasn't completely.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. If Griff wants the smart contract separately, if he can describe a little bit in more detail what that budget will go to, then yeah, because for the moment it's a bigger budget than communications.
Well, but smart contracts are really important. Like, we don't have a product without the guys doing the smart contracts.
Of course, but for that we have a smart contract. For that we have a product budget, no?
The smart contracts will go to like creating plugins, creating. It'll be projects. It will be audits. It will be getting people to look at our code and check it, and rewarding the people that do work on our code. So anyone who contributes to a smart contract, we will pay them for it, like kind of like the reward DAO style. That's generally that's the project side, and then we have the office, which is where that's basically Jordy's pay. It's kind of how I see that, and then audits, which are likely needed, but hopefully can be free. The other thing is that the smart contract side, I mean, all of these are hopefully, I think the smart contracts will get a lot of donations. So I don't think it's going to be hard to fund this group because we're writing really valuable smart contracts for the entire ecosystem. And we just need to keep that keep that going. And I think this is probably going to be very easy to fund.
Yeah, but
the other thing is
yeah, go ahead.
The other thing is that we do audits and create donations for the other side. Most of the current budget that we have, at least fiat wise, has come from work from the White Hat group, the smart contract audits. So like this is also the business end of Giveth. So I'm talking with MakerDAO right now about doing an audit, and it's not going to be cheap. and that a large part, a good chunk of money is going to go to fuel the donation as a Giveth as a donation.
Right. On the other hand, I remember that in Cancun, Jordi said something about if I wanted to do audits, I would just do audits. I would not, right? I do that.
Yeah, of course.
And it's not something that is a reason why I'm in Giveth for. And Adria said something very similar along those lines.
Yes, but then they end up, I coordinate most of the audits and all of my pay goes to Giveth. So that's, they generally don't like, in the White Hat group, I fill a role of dealing with bureaucracy, talking about money, doing things for these audits, and it ends up making both Adria and Jordi more money than they would make on their own. So, and I mean, yeah, like, why do they keep asking me to help them with their audits then?
Okay, that's clear. So overall, this is more like a 50%, let's say, like a lab for developing smart contracts that can be used not only by us, but also by the community, and 50% as a support for the DApp. Do you see it this way?
Absolutely.
And so Griff is, because now, so this is like $30,000. So this is more budget than what we have for communications. Do you think you will actually need this big a budget?
I do think that there's a big question mark on audits.
Mm-hmm.
That could be 0. That could be twice that.
And the projects?
Projects, yeah. I mean, projects is the only. There is no full-time person. So if we need someone to make a smart contract, then we will need to pay. And smart contract devs are very, very expensive.
Okay.
So, I mean, the smart contract side is a big question mark for sure. Like, it's hard to guess, because in some sense I might be able to get a lot of people to work for free, but if I have to pay, holy shit, it's expensive. So it's a very ambiguous space, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I personally like this sheet that Wojtek made for the product budget. So I am all in for Chris' proposal to make 2 more of those sheets. Or yeah, so
3?
let's say yeah, okay, 3, yeah. And specified, like, I think Wojtek did a pretty good job, like putting all the talents that we need, and then put some like hourly rate on it, and then other costs, and just very nice. And I think we can do that for the other. That's like the needs, right? The talents, basically. Mm-hmm. That we need to make this circle successful for our charities. So yeah, so I'm all in for that. And then based on that, you know, some budget will roll out, and I think that's a better approach than those numbers that are now on the first sheet, which are basically black boxes and hard to judge.
Okay, well, the lead is a person and the documentation is a person, right? So these are people.
Yeah, could be. I have no idea.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That these are people. Projects is like a reward DAO type thing, where we try to get people to do projects in onboarding, right? For governance, and same for here. These are and actually, yeah. And so the green is kind of like a reward DAO, or maybe like a Gitcoin type thing, where we have some budget so that we can get people to attach certain things, like the wall of fame for governance, or whatever project we want to work on that week. So that's what that's for. And same in the smart contracts, it'll kind of be like some money so that we can incentivize people to work on our needs. And I am very excited about a meeting with Gitcoin tomorrow about being able to integrate their platform with Giveth so that we can kind of use what they have and not have to recreate the wheel. And then buffer is just buffer because there's ambiguity on how many projects we need during the day during these weeks.
So, but can we move this to be a little bit specific as well? So, like Chris was proposing, can we assign each of those to one person, and every single one of those would do it more detailed according to a roadmap for such a circle?
I mean, yes, we can, but I think it's kind of, I think it's unlikely to be very well followed, maybe, because it's hard to know what projects we will need or what smart contracts we will need. I mean, smart contracts is a little easier, but when people have good ideas for projects, I guess I would want them to be funded.
Yeah, or I could just say that I only want to spend $200 a week because it is like a black box.
Okay. So another question then is those roles that you've mentioned there are people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right now, those roles are filled by someone. So can we have and so it can be anticipated that those people will also stay and will take those roles. So the amount that is there is probably for a half time, right? And I would just want to ask if it is feasible for those people to even stay with us, or if we now actually, once we approve this budget, if we run into a problem where in 1 month or 2 months, we might need to find someone else to do that for that amount.
So you want a commitment of the people that they will stay with the projects. Is that your question?
I want to ask whether the conditions that are presented in this budget would be okay for whoever is doing it right now, because that's where we're heading, right? We're just heading at approving this budget and at just saying that this person will have that much.
Okay, so I can already say, first of all, from my side, that I'm not approving anything before I've created the detail, and I will do this for communications as soon as possible, because otherwise I don't know if there will be enough money for communications. I can also already state that, which I put in the comment, that I would like to go full-time, because if I do communications, it's more than just sending out tweets. So I will need more time, and I want to invest more time. So that budget line will then already change. But so yeah, I will then definitely, if that is approved in that way, if I can justify it, of course, then I will dedicate my time to give it, for sure.
Okay, but potentially this means that you will not be able to continue with Giveth in the long term.
No, well, if there's still work for me, I will continue, of course.
Okay. Okay. How about Kai, which is sorry, or RJ?
Yeah, sorry, I just jumped on. I was late. Are you guys just talking about comms, or are you talking about in general?
In general.
We can, yeah, let's do it in general.
And I don't know if you guys talked about this earlier, but I remember there was a proposal that everybody would essentially reapply for the job. Is that still on the table or no?
That is a discussion outside of budget, but I would like to get there, yes.
Okay. Well, I guess I feel like that kind of reflects, like, if you have a budget, say, oh, we can only afford this much for a specific job, then like whether the same person thinks it's worthwhile or not is kind of irrelevant, because they have to reapply anyways. They wouldn't reapply for a job that doesn't pay them what they think they need to get paid.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that we don't have to do the whole everybody apply for a job and we create all that, because that's a lot of bureaucracy.
Yes.
If we're just going to end up hiring the same people.
Mm. My feedback to that to Wojtek earlier was that it is a really good way of doing this and starting from a need. But right now we're launching something for March, and indeed this is going to create a lot of administration. I do think it's a good thing that we work with the circles and that we create more accountability for people. But I think we definitely don't. We have very motivated and talented people in the team right now. So I would just start by defining what needs to be done in the different circles and who is the right person to do this. And then we'll see where we are.
Okay, so if we're not doing that, then there's a very valid question of asking, so the lead of communication would probably be Chris, right?
If you vote for me on Friday.
Okay, then the question also is, would those conditions be okay with you, meaning you making $650 a week for the next 3 months and then $700 for the rest of the years? Is this something acceptable for you?
What?
Probably not. So that's why I'm going to make a detailed communication exercise.
Right. So we might have a potential issue here, right?
Issue is a big word, but we have still need to do a more detailed budget exercise for communication. Yes.
Okay. So the second one would be documentation then.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's handled by Kai.
Yeah.
It would probably be also handled by Kai because we're not reassigning new people. So Kai is 650/700. After that, acceptable for you for your role?
I'm very bad at dealing with money in that kind of way, like asking for raises or whatever. But I'm totally fine with that, actually. So okay. Yeah, I will, and you will have me as long as Giveth wants me. I guess I'll be there.
Okay.
I don't have any kids though, so it might change in the future.
Right. I mean, am I doing this wrongly? Does anyone object?
What do you mean by that question?
Like, does anyone object with me just asking the people who are currently doing this?
No, definitely not.
If they are okay with it?
No, I think you're addressing an elephant in the room, actually, so it's good.
Okay, do we have Chris here? Sorry, do we have Griff?
Yeah, sorry, I got cut out. I didn't get to hear what Kai said.
Kai said yes.
I said I'm okay with being paid that, and it's fine with me, everything. Concerning documentation.
Okay, so cool. Who's the governance lead? Is it you, Griff?
I think I'd take that one.
Okay. And you're okay with 600 and 700 after that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Admin role. That's not here right now, but it's in the year starting beginning of March. That's Jen, right now.
Yeah, and you should definitely ask that person in February again.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what happens in the next 3 months, so.
This is also puzzling me quite a bit. Like, why is the admin role being installed after March only? I would like to have clarity on that.
Because they didn't put it in the budget.
Yeah, obviously. But what's the idea behind that?
It's going to be kind of like Chris was saying earlier, when we have more admin may not be the right term for it, but when we have more people coming in and using Giveth that need more help and support, you know, then there will be more need for that.
To support.
But that was the project's onboarding was already support.
Yeah, for me it's the same role.
Yeah, it's the same role, but we'll need a dedicated full-time person after March. Whereas right now we don't have anything to onboard. So
we have us.
Okay, so Jen is actually the project's onboarding person.
That is not a person, right? That's the bucket. I thought the green one.
Yeah, exactly. That's a bucket. The green one is a bucket. I think that we could hire someone to do that for MyEtherWallet, right? And we can hire one person to do that part-time for whatever other project we have. And maybe they do it, maybe it's a part-time thing and one person does all three. Maybe it's a part-time 3 and 3 different people do it.
But we have Jen.
Yeah, and I think it will be very hard to onboard people that onboard other people. Because they will have to know so much. You know, it's not like an easy thing to grasp the whole of Giveth and to transport it.
The counter proposal here is that maybe someone who's onboarding right now should be someone who's also a developer, because right now it will be more like a learning lesson than an actual onboarding, right? So it would be maybe both, maybe someone who will onboard from then on, but also someone as a developer.
Okay, clarifying question here. So you want a developer onboard project? Do I understand that right?
I want maybe 2 people doing that then.
Are you honestly making a distinction, Wojtek, between like onboarding someone, say, as a MyEtherWallet as opposed to saving the elephants?
I am making a distinction between onboarding a first campaign versus onboarding a second campaign.
Okay.
What do we understand under onboarding?
Well, that is probably resolving all the issues that that person has, right? Or that campaign has. So that
means we bring people / projects into Giveth.
Yes. So it means creating with them their campaign, showing them the platform, how it works, listening to their feedback, what is wrong and what they need and what they can't stomach.
And you want the same
providing them general support when something breaks.
Okay.
Being able to be the person that they can contact and that will resolve that issue.
Okay, so you want the same person doing the technical support than actually talking to people using the platform?
No, I don't think anyone's saying that.
Okay. This is why the clarifying question is there.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, the part under governance, everything that is on the right-hand side is still a bit unclear to me. On the left-hand side, I did get it.
Yeah, on the right-hand side, it's just where we're guessing we might need to be on in after March 1st and for the year going. It's hard to say what we're gonna see after March 1st. But we're likely, and exactly the date that it comes in, that these people come in, maybe it's February, maybe it's May, but it's kind of just a guesstimate that we might need an actual project manager for a lot of the projects that we'll be playing with, which is going to be like, okay, MyEtherWallet wants to have this thing that's part of the campaign, or that to make their campaigns easier, they need this and that to make their governance system work within their own DAC. They'll need this and they'll need that. And then maybe Molly's DAC is going to need this and going to need that, and so there's going to be all these little projects, and so we'll probably need to like satisfy those customers, and that will be and a lot of that might be coming from the devs. A lot of it might be coming from communications or smart contracts, and this is just kind of a catch-all for it.
Is it possible to create a governance roadmap?
I think we need to.
I mean, it's a lab, so I don't really. I mean, the roadmap is basically do whatever is like. What's a customer support roadmap look like?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Maybe we need that. Like, if we, what do we imagine needed for governance?
Guys, governance means also that people develop in different ways, right? We could not have made a roadmap of how Giveth developed in the last 3 or 6 months. I think that's, especially for the governance, not a good idea, because I think it's a better idea to let people develop the way they do instead of giving them a roadmap that tries to fit them in a system. Is that right?
We do know which product we are building, right? So we also know what the people are going to need when they use our product.
That's not true.
I doubt that. You don't know what people need when they use a product before they use it. Definitely not. Sorry, have to disagree.
I mean, the video wall is a great example.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's an awesome product that I think is going to be huge.
New version online, by the way.
Yoo-hoo!
Oh, really?
Yeah, Edo just pinged me before. He's testing a little, but it should be online later.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, let's move on.
I would, sorry, one thing I would try to make a roadmap still, because of the business of we want to show other people how to DC. So we kind of have to set some, I think we have to set some snapshots and say, okay, this is the model, we do it right now. We want to change this, we don't want to change this. And this could be the roadmap, but it should be a loose roadmap. It should be this is how we think we will proceed, not like a very technical, straight down roadmap.
I can try to
movement, so to say.
I can try to make a roadmap. I don't. I mean, in the end, each of these campaigns will be independent of funding, right? Mm-hmm. So they'll be independent of each other for funding. And they'll all have to, fight for funding. And so, I think that they will need to do what their donors tell them to do. And and so if I will make a roadmap, but it won't be a very detailed one. It'll just be kind of a loose,
Maybe you can do it in the form of like the DApp, so just the governance campaign or the DAC, whatever. Let's say campaign. So the campaign, you have to describe what you're doing, because otherwise you don't get any donations, and then you need some milestones, right? Otherwise nobody trusts you.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we are looking for, basically, instead of like a very fixed roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we just build that into the actual application?
Hey,
why not?
Oh.
Okay. Well, I can do that. I wanted to play with Oz's run this locally anyway, but I guess I can just do it on the testnet, the alpha.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
That's great, actually.
And then we can all donate, we get 10 tests each, and then we donate to all the milestones, and then once they don't get any donations are cancelled from the budget.
Yeah,
everybody who doesn't get anything is out.
Yeah. Well, I would like to see that on mainnet with real ether. So, and then we'll see. But yeah, okay, sounds good.
Okay. So shall we? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so Chris is going to make a plan like the product budget tab then, right?
I'm going to make what? Sorry.
Like a budget.
Definitely.
Budget.
Yep.
All right. And, smart contracts can also be like, you know, because it's also more loose. But Griff can also put that in the DApp, like a campaign with milestones.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work?
Sure.
Wojtek?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Are we still missing something? Are we still continuing with asking people that if they will do this job for that much?
Well, I don't see Jen still until 1st of March. So, are you on holidays, Jen, or?
Jen, are you on?
That are really long holidays, aren't they?
Okay, because you're not there. You're not in the government.
Absolutely true. That's absolutely true. I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, so I think Jen there needs to be a role there.
Yeah, there's still, before we launch the product, we still need to get paid. We still need to have all these things done, right?
Yeah, but just as long as you have the regular rewards, when they're gone, they're gone.
Well, yeah, but still you handle so much with the other milestones, you know. As long as we use the old DApp, I would say this is very much needed.
Definitely.
I would actually propose to switch this admin, like let's lose the admin on the right side and put it on the until March 1st side. Well, and maybe then transition this to onboarding.
Well, there is a reason for this. So we should not just switch roles, I think.
The reasoning is that we're going to stay with regular rewards until we have our new DApp in this new structure in place.
Yeah.
So I don't expect this. I don't. We're shooting for December 1st, but then there's still some transition time there before everyone starts using the new DApp. So I'm guessing that we are going to be using regular rewards and maintaining the current structure until probably even December 15th. And basically, I have kind of a deal with Jen to make sure that, you know, that we're not a cold smart contract only situation. And if she's in trouble on finances, I will help. But like, as far as a regular reward type role, we just don't have one right now for Jen. So she's gonna need to fight for projects, and I hope to be able to create some projects for her on more of a part-time milestone basis.
But so until mid-December, there is a full-time, a half-time role for Jen, right?
Yeah, I would imagine so. Until we actually start using our new DApp and get rid of regular rewards and transition into this current budget.
So that currently falls under the project's onboarding, then, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Because because a lot of the admin work that Jen has right now is definitely around the current DApp, which we're going to bail on, and then we're not going to onboard My Ether wallet for a while. So.
Yeah. So currently, Jen is supporting the DAC, so she's already doing a role she might be doing in the future if she wants to. So, hint, hint.
Yeah.
Guys, you're really sweet, and it's really nice that you're concerned. I really, it caresses my soul. Thanks a lot. But this is a financial decision, so devs are a little bit more important than admin people at this point. And I will definitely find or have one or the other idea. So
yeah, I mean, in the end,
not that easy to get rid of me. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And the goal here is that when we have our new DApp, anyone can generate a campaign, right? Is that not true?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
So anyone can generate a campaign and say, hey, this is what I want to do for Giveth, and this is how much it'll cost. And there you go. And that's, you know, we're pre-filling some, and if people have some ways that they think they can contribute, then boom, then Jen has a job Arthur has a job, Edu has a job. It's like Oprah over here. Everyone has a job. Like, but they have to make their own, like a DAC, and that's the goal. And
Makes sense.
The point of this budget is to trim it down, and so
yeah. Okay, sorry guys, I got disconnected for a bit, so I don't actually know where we are right now.
Oh, we just decided that we're all gonna be fine.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I think we have the next steps for the budget, right, Wojtek? Or do you still have a
So the next step is Griff will create a schematic roadmap for governance.
And smart contracts.
We'll follow it up with and the smart contracts as well, with a slightly more in-depth budget. And Chris will do the same for comms. Any objections?
Nope.
No objections. And then on the DApp budget,
Yes.
did we go through and ask people about these numbers?
No, we did not. We did not. So the number one is now coming from the communication mostly. Is that okay with Chris?
What do you mean the number one is coming from? Yeah, that these two first lines. Yeah, of course, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Developer front end. Right now it's Satya doing it. The proposal is a yearly salary of 80,000 for a full-time commitment with potentially Fridays off to do labs, but that's the benefits to be negotiated. Would that be something sustainable for Satya? Would he be interested in doing that?
Yeah, that could work.
Okay. So the third one is product definition user testing. I've been doing that for now. I've been doing that for free. I'm very okay with that salary. So I'm okay with that, but anyone else is okay also to challenge me. I'm just saying that right now we don't have a discontinuity in that role if we approve the budget as it is right now. The fourth one is developer, which is RJ, the operations backend smart contracts. It's RJ and OS partially, right? But mostly RJ. So the question is to RJ now. Is 105,000 yearly acceptable for you for the next year?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I guess if that's full time, probably not, but there might be some things we can work out.
Okay. Then we also have Alex here, right?
Is Alex here?
I don't think so.
Well, it says Alex.
Yeah, he is. He is here.
He's the pretty pink girl.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Cool.
Alex. Yeah, he's there.
I think he had a problem with the mic. He tried to
speechless.
unmute, but we could not hear it.
But he's muted, so can we unmute him? No.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
You're sitting in a drum. Be honest.
In a what?
It sounds like he's sitting in a drum, like Diogenes, you know.
Oh yeah, a little bit. I'm in a kind of like a clamshell style space that's just all echoey walls.
Okay. So the question, would you be up for... I mean, I did see a little bit of your work, but not that much yet. So are you operation backend smart contracts person? And would you be interested in doing that full time?
I would be interested in doing that full time. I haven't learned all of Solidity yet, so I'm not quite sure what that means to you guys.
Okay, I'm just noting down that we have potential issue there, right?
Yes.
Next one is Oz, who's also been doing operations for now. What's your feedback on this?
You're talking about bounties, or are you talking about?
I'm still talking about number 4.
Smart contracts.
Yeah. Do you see yourself as developer who would be able to fulfill such role?
In a sense, I mean, I would love to. I think that's the most interesting role that there is, and so Giveth definitely, needs it. But I think the point of this is to form a product team, right? And yeah, so I think there are people that are better than me.
Okay. Okay. And does anyone see any problem with the bounties? Meaning that we just do all the other stuff like graphics design, DevOps, some smart contract stuff that is not handled by smart contracts circle in there. Does anyone see an issue there?
I want to speak for Alan here because he's not at the meeting. I was having a talk with him at the end of like DEF CON, and he was saying, this part-time thing with Giveth is very good at the moment because it's they have so much stuff to do. Like they aggregated so many projects, and they have to like this pile they want to work off. So I think we should come back to him on this. I think for now it's very fine because they don't. He doesn't want to be full-time, but we should still ask him, and stuff like that.
Well,
so from an
but this is definitely not a full-time position.
Right.
It's really like you.
Yeah, that's what I want. But you wanted to know about numbers and such. So
okay,
I'm just saying, like, we don't want to do the fit people in roles. It's just like he's our most talented designer. So I would.
I will
ask him.
I will follow up with him. Okay, so I got enough feedback on my side. I will follow up with more people offline who are not here, but at least we all voiced some opinion. So I think the tasks are clear right now. Can we get a deadline on those?
At least from my side, I won't be able to get it done until probably Friday.
How about we have this meeting next Tuesday again, this time?
Good call, yeah.
But still, I would like to have it before that.
Yeah.
So let's put a deadline Monday.
It's tough because I'm flying all day tomorrow, and then my birthday is on Thursday. So I'm just got to battle with the girlfriend. But
to me, Tuesday is fine. If we do next Tuesday, that makes sense to me. If that works for you, Grit.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. The end of this week is going to be really difficult for me.
Well,
yeah, I could also help you, Griff, with the roadmap.
Okay.
But still, I think it's important that we to do this well. I also want the feedback of the other people for communications, and time flies. So for me, beginning of next week is a good point. I'll try to present already what I want to do for communications this Friday. That's for sure.
Okay, but can we have it on Monday ready so everyone can see it before going in the call next Tuesday?
Oh yeah, sure.
Grave?
Yeah, I'm shooting for Friday. I can definitely hit Monday.
Okay. I think I would close this meeting now.
Do we do the next governance meeting at 8 then this Friday, coming Friday?
Yeah, thanks, Jen. Good call.
Well, I don't know who's going to take notes.
Well, someone else than me when it's at 8. There are like 7 people involved in this team. Every one of them can probably type.
Well, because I requested to move the governance meeting, I will take notes.
Oh, good call.
Wow. I think that's a good call.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sasha.
I think that's a new policy there.
Yeah. Whoever is annoying takes the notes. Yeah.
And so that's at 8 p.m. Barcelona time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I can't make that, so make little notes, Satya. Please, please, please. Thanks.
I will. I'm very good. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I'm very bad at note taking.
Awesome, thank you.
Cool. Okay, cool.
All right.
Cool.
Well, I'll see you guys on Friday then.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Yeah, it was a nice meeting. Thanks.
One of the best we had. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See ya.